Oh, it would help if I added myself to stage. 109 viewers. I wonder what that number means. Oh, it dropped. Okay. But I hope you're all having a wonderful night tonight. This is a pretty impromptu stream. Just got a couple homies on here to talk about something. Now, just because I released an April Fool's video today doesn't mean that this is an April Fool's stream. Because something did happen. It's not a joke. Well, it's kind of a joke, but we'll explain later. Richard, how's your night going?
It's going well. I would argue that it is absolutely a joke as far as the product itself.
Correct. Yeah, and this is funny because this is kind of like a follow-up topic to something that we already talked about. The product is mostly a joke. The person is mostly a joke, but the actions are a little. Some might even say scummy or SEC violations. But we'll talk about that. Spaz, Funhaver, how is your evening going, sir?
Having fun. I was playing Minecraft, realized you were going to start streaming. I'm like, I might as well ask if I can hop on with you guys.
Yeah, he's one of the Discord DGen regulars. So if you ever want to hang
DGen.
out and chat, I am usually in Discord every day, which is free. Although there's now an airlock because there was way too many of you. So to shill my own Discord, if you want to come and hang out and talk to the people that show up on stream, most of them talk all the time. So just check that out. Somebody will post a link somewhere around here. But where should we start? Probably from the beginning. So a couple days ago, we talked about what was this? Cryptid defense? Is that the name of this thing? Cryptid
Shield
hardware.
finger heater upper.
Yeah. The Bacon Rapinator 6000
I'd like to
shield
see that
thingamajig. Yeah, it's basically a grill that you attach to your suppressor. But this is from Cryptid Hardware. This is the Ape shield that you can pin and weld to your rifle to make it legal so that you don't have to pin your suppressor, but you're pinning a heat shield instead. We'll talk about the concept a little bit more. But at the time, we were like, oh, that's just kind of a silly product. So we just made fun of it and kind of moved on. However, yesterday, Tim, Military Arms Channel, big channel, 1.5 million subs, he decided to make a video on the Ape suppressor cage, which is quite a unique product.
I didn't see that at all. That's surprising.
Correct. It does
we were
seem
watching
strange.
it. It's like 38 views, 2 likes maybe on the video. Very weird.
On the Ape Defense channel?
Yeah, on the Ape Defense channel. We were looking at yesterday and it's like, oh, there's only
Right.
a couple views on this. There's only a couple likes. It was released like yesterday. And then immediately, Military Arms. Very cool.
Yeah, Military Arms does a video on it, which we're going to watch in detail because it's kind of important. So the cryptid, what is it? Cryptid machining?
Defense.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Defense, I believe.
Cryptid hardware. Sorry,
Cryptid
hardware with the Ape armored pinnable extension. And Military Arms Channel does a video on it, which is interesting. It's only been out for a few days. It seems like an April Fool's joke, even though this one here is a day early. Interesting product, kind of something silly to make a video on. But if we look into it a little bit more, you can see Cryptid Hardware. They have their Instagram page, all that sort of stuff. It features Tim on there. Oh, that's interesting enough. You can see their website, the ape, of course. Cryptid Hardware on Bizpedia. It shows their registered agent address and then their principal. Well, this is public information.
Right.
This is their principal address, 2600 Beach Street, Valparaiso, Indiana, 46383.
I think somebody else I know lives in Valparaiso, Indiana.
What an interesting address. So if we Google the address, Copper Custom. Huh. What a interesting little coincidence that Copper Customs address is the same as Cryptid Hardware. That's interesting. Mr. Tim Harmson, something like that.
Harold.
Tim Harold, yes, correct. Happens to be the founding partner of Copper Custom. So that's interesting that there's that kind of relationship there. that may or may not be disclosed at all in this video on the Ape
Interesting.
suppressor cage, selling you a $250 piece of aluminum. That's
Uh,
the product is kind of a joke. So again, Cryptid Hardware works out of the same area at the exact same location. They're registered at the exact same location as Copper Custom, and Mac is a founding partner of Copper Custom. So it seems like there's something weird going on there that's not quite disclosed. Some people might call that lying by omission. Some people might call that scummy. Now, it's totally fine to promote your own product. Like, hey guys,
right.
we came out with this new thing, and to be like, hey, this is a device that we're working with this new company that I just started and all that. But if you don't say that,
Here's
um,
this product I found randomly while scrolling the internet. Buy it. Yeah.
right, yeah, some might also say that that's like a SEC violation.
Oh,
Possibly not disclosing your financial relationships with a product that you're reviewing or peddling on your audience. Some might say, that's for lawyers to determine, not me. But some people say that might resemble that. Now, a little bit of background on Tim, just in case you're not familiar with the gentleman. There are a fantastic series of meme videos made by Canuck Gunnut. There are 3 parts in this meme video series. We're really only going to focus on the first one, but Tim allegedly has made a habit of selling out his audience. If you remember, he used to push SDI until MGS offered him a better check. Now, to be clear, MGS does the same thing that SDI does, except they cost like 1/10 the amount of money. So that resolves the biggest problem that everybody has with SDI is that they just farm your GI bill and take way too much money. But I think Tim has moved from SDI to MGS. But there was a specific saga, a arc, you could say, of the military arms channel revolving around the SVD drama, FEGs, importing them, and then, you know, uh, lying about them. So, yeah.
going
Also,
in.
yeah, I see people commenting about it in the chat that he also likes to comment on Instagram thoughts posts for some reason. Even though he's married with children, and he likes to say like I forget what were some of the things that he was saying, like
I can pull that up. I have a
good
screenshot, I think.
morning. Oh, you have the screenshots?
I
Yeah.
think.
It's like good morning, beautiful. You're the light of the day, or
While having kids.
just the cringiest thing you could imagine posting, just straight up boomer material, horny posting on main, some would say. Very cringe in general, right? Simping after thoughts like that. Extremely extra cringe when you're married with kids, right? It's a whole other level on there. Now, everybody has their personal foibles, but some people have more than others. So I thought we'd take a look at this little meme video because this summarizes the SVD saga very well. And again, this is by Canuck Gunnut, which you should absolutely check out, even though I don't think he's active anymore.
I have a screenshot of his following, and he has like 3 thoughts on it.
Nice. The
I'm,
Coomer Boomer.
I'm
Is Dugan
throwing
in
it into
chat?
the chat.
Tim sold me a Mosin behind Hooters. Yeah, he probably sold it to you for like $700 too.
Upsale of 500%.
Hooters is claiming bankruptcy. Thanks, Obama. I know. Their audience has shrunk over the years.
They
No
took
pun
away all the
intended.
big titty girls.
Yeah, I still remember that SVD saga. Yeah, that made a lot of people mad. But let's go ahead and watch this.
They're having a hard time buying a gun for
Chromosome Hoarder for 69 for $9.99 says send Dugan an invite link. I would be happy to. If Dugan wants to come on, I'll send him an invite. No problem. But
Yeah,
usually he has better things to do than come on here.
I
But if he
think
wants to, 100%.
I
gotta
think
make
Dugan
columns.
knows he's got an open invite anytime.
Yeah. And also, I don't want to spam Dugan, but if you do come into our Discord, he hangs out in there. So if you actually want to talk to him, he tells very funny stories and wise man full of good information for younger people. So it's awesome.
a reasonable price. There's a lot of unscrupulous people out there that are really a blight on the 2A community that I call scalpers. These are people that will
Oh, Statements that didn't age well for 500, please.
Eesh.
They're having a hard time buying a gun for a reasonable price. There's a lot of unscrupulous people out there that are really a blight on the 2A community that I call scalpers. These are people that will hang out at their local gun store. They'll see a case of ammunition come in or a firearm come in that they know will be popular. They'll buy it at regular prices. They'll immediately take it to a place like Gunbroker and sell it for, $1,000 more than it's worth.
Ooh,
It
bro,
hurts. It really
it's
hurts.
also the timeline. If you remember the timeline, it was like a couple of weeks. This wasn't like years later.
Ugh.
This was like moments later. He's like, I hate people who do that. He
I'm
turns
gonna do
around
that.
and just immediately starts doing that.
That's a
And
great idea.
the funny thing is, while he's saying this, he's been in the process of doing this for months.
Goodness.
So it's not even after. He is actively doing what he's claiming that he hates. Some would say that there's some certain types of elements there in what he's doing. He's actively saying that, like, I hate these type of people. Well, he's been doing it and he's about to launch it. It's just good. Officer Dullard says SpongeBob time card 2 hours later. Well, listen, Canuck Gunnut is way ahead of you on that.
Yeah.
Like Gunbroker and sell it for, $1,000 more than it's worth. And they're capitalizing and feeding that endless cycle of panic buying. And those people are disgusting to me. So
Yeah.
we need to tone it down a little bit. There are good gun shops out there. Copper is a gun store where
it's all so good. There's so much packed into, this is what I talk about a lot of times in other people's videos. There is so much packed into this 2 minutes to break down. Like, it's perfect. He's shilling his own company, right?
Yeah.
Copper Customs. He's like, I hate people who oversell by $1,000, even though he's about to do more than that. Right, with the SVDs, the panic buying. I find these people disgusting. It is so packed with content. Every second, every sentence can be analyzed. It's amazing.
I don't know if this is related, but was the whole SVD thing during where the Ukrainian war popped off of? Is that what
20?
I'm?
No,
I
it
don't
had to
know.
have been before. Had to have been
Okay, before.
And
I was just
like,
curious
at
if that
least a
tied
year
in why
before.
he was like, oh,
Although
yes, FTDs because
the
Ukraine.
SVDs were Hungarian. I'm not an import guy, so
I have
the
no
specifics
clue what
about
the
all that
import laws
stuff. That's
are.
not my deal.
Yeah,
But I'm pretty sure they were not Russian. They were
right.
Hungarian or maybe something, right? They weren't Russian at the time, so I don't think this would have affected that much.
Okay. My apologies.
we do sell rifles like the one you're looking at right here that are at regular market prices. Now, if you go over to Gunbroker, it's going to be significantly higher.
4 to 6 weeks later.
So the importer, Trident, brought these in. There's 100 of them. I know Copper has some of these available.
That's because he just said that Copper has some of the SVDs. There were 100 total imported, and he says that Copper has some of them. Some of them. Which allegedly is a lie, because he's going to contradict that, and in an accidental post that got taken down, he's going to say that they bought all 100 of them. So we'll let this play.
No, Copper has some of these available. They're going to be available on Gunbroker. So the market is going to decide the price on these rifles. They're going to start off, I believe, at $5,000, and then the bids will go from there.
2 hours later.
Oh my
So
god.
Hungarian HD 18/SVDs are here. All 100 of these rifles will be sold through our Gunbroker account. And this is from the main Copper Custom Instagram, right? So this is saying that all 100 of these rifles will be sold through our Gunbroker account, which is a problem, right? Because he said that we only
to clarify,
have some of
not
them.
our Gunbroker.
It says sold through our Gunbroker account.
Right, but not us. We don't have a Gunbroker. This is Tim's, to clarify to people.
So Copper Custom doesn't have a
No,
Gunbroker account?
I don't want them thinking that we're selling stuff.
Oh, of course not. Of
No,
course not.
no,
No.
no.
I'm reading off Copper Custom's statement. No. I mean, although the YouTube AI is probably dumb enough to
Yeah.
think that we are actually saying that. So I'm reading.
100%.
This is a statement. Okay, this is a statement from Copper Custom that this got taken down very shortly after this was posted. So when we roll it back like 30 seconds, when we talk about panic buying and inflating the price, remember that Mac is saying that they're only going to sell 5 of these on Gunbroker, which is going to cause the price to escalate to an insane amount, right? Because people are going to fight over the 5 imported SVDs, right? When in reality they have all 100 and they're just jacking up the price with fake scarcity, basically. Richard just had a stroke, yeah. It happens to everybody.
Happens.
Let's back up now. I don't know. Is this
Oh.
music copyrighted? Does anyone know?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is Copper Customs, Hungarian A+, blah, blah, blah. Let's scroll forward. Can we scroll forward? And
Current
immediately, once that happened, people were very upset. Now, what I'm not really going to get into in this saga is that the import was discussed on the AK forums and different users there, and there was some assumption that they were going to get first crack at the SVDs. However, Copper Customs worked directly with the importer to buy all of them and then sell them directly to Gunbroker, right, for maximum profit. So the people on AK forums were upset because they had, even though I don't believe that any money had been exchanged hands, like nobody put a deposit down on something. I believe that it had been discussed that they were going to get first crack at them, but instead Tim buys up all of the surplus, all 100 of them, and takes them direct to Gunbroker, leaving the AK guys completely out. Because again, the original promised price, promised 3,000 years ago, promised for $3,500 was the original price that they were talking about. And then the minimum starting bid on Gunbroker was $5,000. So he upped the price by $1,500. Now remember that he finds it disgusting if people add $1,000 to the price of items through fake scarcity, right? That's what Tim just said, right? Like literally 30 seconds ago, while doing even more than that, right? Like instantaneously.
In a
So what
single
do you think?
sentence. Oh, sorry.
What do you think that he paid for all 100? I bet he paid probably 20 grand for all 100.
No. Way more than that. With because we're talking about the importer has to get paid, the exporter has to get paid on the other side. So we're talking like he probably, I would guess 150K. 100 to 150K. Which is still probably the best margin you can possibly, because remember, if you're selling for 100 for $500,000. Right. Roughly, if everything sells at $5,000 a pop, right? So I don't know exactly what the import price was. So again, 3,800 was what they promised to sell them for. Or said that was what it was going to be. Topper says 3,850 was paid. No, I think 3,850 was the original price that they had estimated they would be after export, after import, plus a markup to make a little bit of money, right? So they were going to retail for 3,850. Instead, they go starting bid $5,000 on Gunbroker, right? And Copper Customs, Tim has all of them, which is a really great way to make a lot of money, right? If you can make $500,000 on 100 rifles, like you're doing pretty good. Minimum.
So what you're saying is that Mr. Tim is putting high interest rates on the SVDs.
That is one way to look at it, perhaps. Yeah. Well, so yeah, B&T now does that, and I think the thing with B&T is they're big enough and they're not scummy enough to rip off their audience, even though their prices are high on a lot of things. But I think they are actually meeting that price tag, so you can actually get FEG import rifles for a reasonable price. I would never buy one, but at least they're not marked up to an insane degree, right? Anyway, so people immediately fake bidded up these things to like $10 million as like basically a protest. Like, how dare you? How dare you do this to us? Yeah, so and then Tim goes into defense mode. There's lots of great screenshots up here. The Tim what was it? The Tim cries out as he strikes you or something like that. Tim says, I never made a post on IG about the guns at all. There are 5 on Gunbroker, 5. Those are all fake bids, so those will be sold through the Copper website later on in the week. So they tried to maximize profits through Gunbroker by doing the $5,000 starting price. That obviously got blown out. Then they're like, now we're just going to sell them on our own website because people are so upset and they're abusing the system on Gunbroker. And then people are like, no, we saw the screenshots. Like you said, you bought all of them. Everyone has them, bro. Like everyone has them, bro. And he went into defense mode hard.
No, I'm not upselling these. No, of course not.
Yeah. Five are on Gunbroker groups. Again, he's just anytime you see somebody responding to all, and I guess I've done this in the past too, so you can call me out for this too. When you're getting roasted for something, like it's just always a bad look. And this is advice I need to take. Everybody that's on the YouTube needs to take. Luguru Tactical needs to take it. Terribly Tactical. All these guys, right? You need to take this advice. If you're getting roasted for something, the more you engage, the more you punch these people, you're just getting more of that to come back on yourself, which that's a terrible phrasing. Gosh dang it. Worst phrasing of all time. But
I'm clipping it.
You are what's a better way to say this now, damn it. I know I lost my train of thought.
When the SVD comes back on you,
Yeah.
you just gotta,
Facts.
I'm not gonna finish that.
Right. Yeah. Flipped. Damn it. What's a good word? So yeah, the more you fight back, oh damn it, this just goes into other analogies. Anyways, it's best to let sleeping dogs lie or something like that. Like don't enrage your own audience, especially when they're already mad. Like don't poke the bear, right? The more you do it, the worse it gets. Yeah, something. There's something in there. All of these rifles will be auctioned off through Gunbroker. To view listings, please click the link to our profile here. YouTube, that's not me. I'm reading this off. And this is, of course, the Hungarian Drogonov 18 rifle with blah, 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 blah. Only 100 imported in this configuration. So again, this is according to the Copper Customs website. It's just all bad. It's all bad. Like, nice try, but no thank you. Yeah, and so we see a pattern here, right? And this is just a funny meme video. We've taken 25 minutes to go over the history of Tim being a little bit of a goober, which I find this funny. We'll listen to the first 30 seconds again because this is the best.
They're having a hard time buying a gun for a reasonable price. There's a lot of unscrupulous people out there that are really a blight on the 2A community that I call scalpers. These are people that will hang out at their local gun store. They'll see a case of ammunition come in or a firearm come in that they know will be popular. They'll buy it at regular prices. They'll immediately take it to a place like Gunbroker and sell it for, $1,000 more than it's worth. And they're capitalizing and feeding that endless cycle of panic buying. And those people are disgusting to me. So we need to tone it down a little bit. There are good gun shops out there. Copper is a gun store where we do sell rifles like the one you're looking at right here that are at regular market price.
Did he already call them disgusting? Did I miss that?
Yeah.
Now, if you go over to Gunbroker,
when you go over to Gunbroker, what happens?
Go over to Gunbroker, it's going to be significantly higher.
4 to 6.
Yeah. So that's the background. That's the background on Mac. Now, for everybody just watching this now, because we're up to like 800 people watching on a Monday night, I don't know what's going on.
Goodness gracious, on April 1st?
Anyways, so Tim the other day, yesterday, made a video on the Ape suppressor cage by Cryptid Hardware. Move over, Surge. Interesting enough, I suppose. I suppose that's chill or whatever, making a video on this wacky little product. Right? So we can go to the Cryptid Hardware website that sells the Ape armored penetrable extension for $240. All right, fair enough.
Blast shield for $39.
Well, the blast $40 for a blast shield, they're not, they should be cheaper, but I mean $40 is $40. Now,
For
if you look up where
it should
they're
come with
actually
it.
right, if you look up where they're I don't know about that. Either way,
Okay,
when you
my
look up
apologies.
the actual
Go ahead.
when you look up where they're actually doing business out of, again, that is 2600 Beach Street, Valparaiso, Indiana, 46383. That also happens to coincide with Copper Custom that Mac is a founding partner of. Now, in the video, we're going to watch this together, all 13 minutes of it. I don't believe that that's disclosed, that there's a financial entanglement between Mac and Cryptid Hardware, which, again, some might claim is a SEC violation or just a generic scummy thing to do. Some might say. Some might say. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, I'm
It
behind.
is.
I was up
Oh,
till
fuck,
7 o'clock this morning editing that April Fool's video, so I'm a little off today. Anyways, let's just start from the beginning.
Have you guys seen the surge cage? It's this thing that the U.S. military was working on that had like chicken wire around a suppressor. Well, that was wildly popular, but also wildly expensive. And that's kind of in the same line as what the ape is. This is all made out of aluminum, and it's a very lightweight option. Now, here's all the components of the ape, and you can see it attached to this AR-15. So let's just kind of start off there. So you can see how it's attached. What we have here is the ape coming out, and then a suppressor inside of it. And
Oh, the ape is coming out. That's wholesome.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I only listen to Mac theme song when I left. That's right. Banger every time.
The intro reminds me of the same CGI that was used in the SIG video yesterday.
Yes, actually, probably the same artists. Although I think, dude, Mac has been using that for like a decade now. So
They stole it from him.
yeah, it was stolen from us. That intro was promised to us
Oh,
3,000
no.
years ago. That's awesome. I love making fun of these companies. Just so silly.
It's great.
so it's going to protect the can in such a way that will also do a little bit of heat shielding, but it is aluminum next to a very
No.
What?
No. Well, so it's like it will protect the suppressor. No, it's aluminum. And as far as the heat shield goes, like if your suppressor is 500 degrees, congratulations. The thing pinned to your barrel and right next to the suppressor is probably also going to be 500 degrees.
I think
It's
I learned
also-
about. Sorry.
Well, it's also not going to do anything for Mirage. Like, you get some of those covers that are like solid on top to kind of bleed massage out the side or underneath or something like that to kind of cut that down. This is not going to do that. Not at all.
I
So-
think you just said bleed massage.
Bleed Mirage. But
Massage.
you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Massage, whatever. Anyways, moving on.
hot suppressor. So it's going to be more like a handguard, which handguards also get hot. But
Which is a problem with SD handguards, right? When you have the suppressor tucked all the way underneath your handguard, wherever it's close to the suppressor, you basically can't touch after like maybe 20 rounds, right? So it's not a heat shield. If you touch that instead of the suppressor, you're going to burn yourself like 5% less bad. It's not going to do anything for Mirage. So I mean, there's only one use case for the product. There's only one, and I don't really even agree with that. But for some of you, it might make sense.
you can also easily get to your suppressor on here because the overall length is in this ape device, right? And we'll get to that here in a moment.
A lot of folks ask me, how can I get involved in the firearms business? And that
Now, this is the
Nope.
exact same ad that he would say for SDA, like the exact same ad. SDI. It would be the exact same ad, but instead of SDI, it's MGS. Again, the only difference between MGS, which I've actually talked to the owner of MGS, or one of the guys that is very high up in the company. They actually care a lot more about the 2A, and they're 1/10 the cost of SDI. So MGS is better than SDI. I'm still not accepting a sponsorship from any of these companies. Modern Gun School. And we'll skip that. Also, I don't know how much Primary Arms is paying him, but in his recent videos for the last like while or so, he has a full video, banner ad for Primary Arms. Which, I mean, Primary Arms, hit me up. I'll put that in there. That's easy. I don't even have to say anything. Just put your logo in the corner. And it's probably some ridiculous sum of money as well.
The description below.
And then the can screws into the ape and attaches to the hub mount that's part of the unit. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit more detail. So that's what it looks like on the firearm. So let's take a closer look at the device itself. It's intended to be pin welded onto the end of your barrel, optionally. You don't have to. You can put this.
The only reason that this exists is for pin and weld, because again, it's not a real suppressor cover. It doesn't do anything for mirage. It's not a heat shield. It's not going to do anything like that. The point of this is that you can pin and weld this to your 11.5, I believe, is as short as it goes, and then you can take your suppressor on and off without having to SBR your rifle. So you don't have to weld the suppressor to it, which has a host of downsides. For instance, if you have to, if your suppressor dies or you have to cut the pin and weld off, you can damage your suppressor. So you may not actually want to pin and weld the suppressor to your 11.5 barrel. So you can still take the suppressor on and off. You can cross state lines because you don't have an SBR. It makes that a little bit easier. But then there's also just pistol braces, or, the secret third option when it comes to crossing state lines,
I think that's the only useful use case for these
That's
things.
it. That's literally it. It's just it's only for if you don't want to SBR your rifle. And again, keep in mind that you own a suppressor. It's already a tax stamp. A tax stamp is $200. The ape cover is more than $200. It's $250, not including 2 pin and welds. You have to pin and weld it in 2 different places, as we're going to get into. So if you're paying somebody to do the pin and welds, that's an extra additional money on top of that. And again, if you already have an NFA item, right, you already have your fingerprints given to the ATF, then having another one is like, it's 2 sets of the same. Who cares, right? At that point. So the only reasonable application is if for some reason you can't have an SBR where you live, like you can't, but you can have a suppressor, but not an SBR. Or if you want to cross state lines and you're one of those people who cares about filing paperwork with the ATF to cross state lines, which is like 4 people. And keep in mind, the entire time that we've been watching this, I don't believe he's mentioned yet that they operate out of the exact same location as the gun shop that he owns. Which some might say would be an SEC violation.
Device on a 16-inch barrel if you're so inclined, but it is intended to work with barrels, with pistol length barrels, to get that overall length out to 16 inches on the barrel, and of course over 26 inches in overall length for other firearms, bullpups like the P90 and things like that, with some additional help. But anyway, so here you have the different components. If you take a look at the back of the ape, you'll see a series of pinholes, and those pinholes will align with this unit, and this is what attaches to your barrel. So your barrel is right there. It threads over the barrel. There's your pin and weld hold. Now, you have an option here. You can pick this up where...
Oh, Dugan, he's going to put that on a P90, but then you have to put on an additional device at the back to meet the overall length requirement as well. So everything gets worse when you put this on a P90.
Extension on an extension.
Yeah, we have to have an extension in the front and the back to actually meet the legal limit. It's quite fun. You guys are being absolutely insane tonight. So we got to get through some of these before we keep going. Logan Sucks at Shooting for $9.99 says, I'm here for some utter tomfoolery. Well, thank you very much. And you came to the right place because there's lots of foolery going on here. Mm-hmm. Chromosome Hoarder 69 for $1.99 says, Rich, turn on your camera and do the truffle shuffle. You never know. You might get a Richard jump scare in this. You never know when that can happen.
They do happen.
Yes. BHI for $2 says, does Tim cook meth in that shed? I cannot confirm nor deny what may or may not happen within his shed.
All I can say is it is Indiana.
Yeah, maybe the Redwater gentlemen use the shed for other activities as well. You never know. There could be some waterboarding or other boarding going on there.
Can we call it the ape shed now?
The ape shed. He's going ape shed. Huge ass for $1.99 says, who's more cringe, Mac or Carl from In Range TV? I think Carl still wins by default for being a Satanist. Again, Mac is just a greed, right? Mac and greed. I think that's a great title. BHI for $5 says 100% Tim has cheap Asian swords hanging on the wall just out of view of the camera. No, I don't think he's that type of boomer. I think that he just has all the stuff that he's been given over the years from companies that is very expensive sitting around. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein Firearms for $4.99 says, if someone sent you a Thesis Night Stalker 2011 and 9mm, would you run it suppressed? For those of us like me who own one, curious your thoughts. I would shoot it suppressed. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't. I don't prefer shooting handguns suppressed. I don't think that's a great application for suppressors. But I mean, I would shoot a cheap 2011, and if it breaks, it's like, haha, it's funny. If it works, it's like, oh, that's cool, 37 for $2 says Tim is a snake. Well, yeah, he has some strange tendencies. We can say that.
Odd.
BHI for $5 says Tim is an OG gun industry grifter. No, he has a MAGA podcast. He's definitely not a definitional grifter. Certainly not, good sir. And thank you for the $5. Kyle Milan says, boo, this guy stinks. I think
I know this guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's actually referring to you, Spaz. Spaz should off himself for $2. Well, you're going to have to do way more than $2 to get Spazzed off.
Free.
Come on. Free?
$3. I'm kidding.
Director Fury for $10 says nothing. Just drops 10 on the table and walks out the door. But thank you very much for that, sir. Oh my gosh, these never end. BHR for $2 says, again, I bet he cooks meth in that shed. Your guess is as good as mine. All right. We will continue to try and make sure that those don't get out of hand, but let's keep going.
This collar is pin and welded in place because it has to be. You cannot make this easily removable. That's the whole ATF shtick, is that you have to permanently affix this to the barrel through a pin and weld. So you can pick it up where this is already attached to the ape, and I'll just show you how that works. Or you can do it yourself. And the reason you have all these pinholes is so you can time it on the gun. So if you take a look at how it's oriented on this particular setup, that's this angled cut, which allows you to get easy.
Ape Cage Harambe is not impressed. Yeah, they keep saying like easily accessible. I don't know about that. That does not look user serviceable. And again, keep in mind that you have to pin and weld this in two separate locations because you have to torque down the main part, and then you have the collar, and both of those have to be pin and welded in place. So that is two separate operations that have to happen after you time the whole thing. Keep in mind that it costs $250 before pin and welds.
So the hub itself is being pinned as well?
Yes. It all has to be
You can't
pinned in
change
place.
hubs then?
No, well, it is a hub. So it is a 1.375 by 24.
Okay.
So if I had one of my
I'm unfamiliar
suppressors
with that.
handy, you could just thread the with no muzzle device on the back, just thread most suppressors directly onto the ape. So your suppressor is not pin and welded in place. You can take that off and put it on anything else that you want, but the cage stays in place.
So how well do you think this would work as far as concentricity goes? Do you think there would be any risks of baffle strikes considering it's
I don't
double
think
weld?
so. Well, no. That doesn't matter. Because remember, your suppressor is attached to this right here. So this is continuous. So like any hub adapter would be, this is one continuous piece. And then this is also welded on to the back of this so that you can't take the shield off. It's all welded in place. So, but this is no different than any other. This is no different than any other hub that you would put on your suppressor, anyways. Right. That should not cause any sort of concentricity issues, assuming that it's machined properly, right?
And I believe that they sell just that hub as well, too, do they not?
They do sell the hub plus muzzle devices, which is a really weird combo, but we can talk about those in a minute. And again, he's going to show them off on camera and never mention the financial relationship that he has with this company.
Patent pending, by the way.
Right.
And the reason you have all these pinholes is so you can time it on the gun. So if you take a look at how it's oriented on this particular setup, that's this angled cut, which allows you to get easy access to the suppressor. Put a strap wrench on it if you need to. You can orient that up. You can orient that down.
That's a good point. I mean, it does look like something that Strike would make for approximately $40.
I think I mentioned yesterday, red anodizing needs to be on this product.
Right. Because, I mean, if you look at it, it is essentially just a tiny piece of a handguard. Like, it's just a piece of extruded aluminum that's put in place, and then there's a locking collar that gets pin and welded in place, right? Not a lot of machining or material there, and it's pretty standard. Like, almost anyone can make this if you're already making handguards.
You can orient it. Anyway.
That's right. We got a Mac chastity cage before GTA 6. Unbelievable.
Way you want, at whatever angle you so desire. And that's why you have this series of pinholes and this adapter. So we're going to drop that in there, line up those pinholes. I'm just going to stick it together for now since we're not putting it on a firearm. And then this will lock the whole thing together.
And then again, you have to pin and weld that collar in place as well.
Now, because this can be unscrewed, that has to be pin and welded, and there is provisions for that. Again, you can pick it up with this already pin and welded to the ape, and you just put it on. You can clock it by using spacers like you would a normal muzzle device for a suppressed firearm, or you can do it yourself. All right, and then the secondary pin and weld is right here for you or your gunsmith. Once this is screwed on, then you would pin and weld.
So the cage is on there because that, once it's pinned in place, that extends your effective barrel length, right? So that gives you a 11.5 will be a 16.5 inch or 16.25, whatever it ends up being, so that is not a SBR. The suppressor is still an NFA item, but at least it's not an SBR or something like that, right? There's a couple instances where it might be useful to a couple people, but by and large, it should be an April Fool's joke, and that is what we'll go through the comments a little bit later. But that is what most of the commentators thought, and myself as well.
Do you think that they would stand behind their customers if one of them actually did buy this, pin and weld it, and then got arrested for an illegal SBR, stating that the aluminum is not part of the barrel?
That's not true, because I've pin and welded like faux suppressors for customers before. So that's, if the ATF did that, like that's just which they do, of course, that's just a gross overreach of what they're supposed to do in the first place, right?
Right.
So the ATF should not do that because it meets their definition of a pin and welded muzzle device, right?
They also shouldn't shoot unarmed women in the head when they're holding babies.
Of course, yes. But that's a completely different, separate issue. The ATF sucks. That's well known, right? This product should satisfy their rules in theory, right? Two separate issues, right?
I sent you 2 DMs of the images of the ape cage on Discord. I'm not able to add them to the chat, but they're there, of the 2 pins, and then an MCX with it on there, making it almost, I think, longer than a 20-inch M16.
You DM them to me? I don't know.
Yes, on Discord.
I see them on here.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I never get this stuff. And it's always on some ridiculous rifle too, right? It's like, I don't know why you would put that on a 16-inch gun. Again, if you want a real suppressor like heat shield, buy a heat shield. That's not what this is going to do. If you want something to cut down on Mirage, you'll need a wrap or something like that. Not this.
And the wraps aren't that much.
Well, dude, some of these suppressor products get insanely expensive.
I forget, it was the Hot Pocket handguard. That was pretty decent.
So that's the entire unit. Now, this whole thing is very lightweight. I'll get a picture of the
It's about 50% as heavy as your suppressor. So it's like adding half a suppressor again on the end of your barrel. So even from that aspect, I don't like that at all. That's like a peck. That's like most lights are around that weight. So it does add more weight to the very end of your barrel, which I don't enjoy.
The weight of this device, but it's not very heavy at all. Most of the weight is actually in this mounting system. The ape itself is super.
Hey, before we think of the R and price one, yeah. Well, no. So they are going to come out with a second model called the revised ape cage.
Hmm.
Yes, that's the second generation, the revised ape cage. So Spaz, before we keep going, could you tell me about this Kyle dude? He's not very happy with us.
How deep do you want me to get? Because the rabbit hole can get very deep.
Just give me 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds starting now.
Okay, there used to be a Milspic Mojo Discord server. I used to be in it with this guy. I left that
Mhm.
server because everyone was toxic. But this
Mhm.
guy was solid and he's kind of funny.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay, so he's just being funny.
Yeah, Spazlor.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
Spazlor.
Okay, perfect.
So you
Never
left
mind then.
theirs to come to ours?
Yeah.
Well,
Spaz lore.
not necessarily.
That's why 1,000 people are here. It's for the Spaz lore.
No
Yeah.
one wants
Lightweight
me.
aluminum.
The R-Ape Cage now with Keypod.
Oh God.
So there will be firearms out there.
Todd and Dog, sorry, for $5. That's a great question. The bigger question is, can he not make enough money with 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube so he doesn't have to do this stuff? Greed knows no bounds, good sir. Now here's a funny little comparison, okay? A military arms channel, 1.5 million subscribers, right? This video has 14,000 views from a day ago. Let's see how much my ship post has from this morning. My just dog water video from this morning that I made at 7 o'clock in the morning has
Great
18,000
video.
views. Some would say it's funny, but this one here has 18,000 views, 1,500 likes. And Tim has 14,000 views and 900 likes.
L plus
So,
ratio.
Yeah, L plus ratio. That's what I would say.
And
So you can
almost-
chill, but
Almost
yeah,
a million more subscribers.
over a million. He has
No, almost
1.43 million.
almost a million more than you.
No. You're not. He has 1.43 million more. Not almost more. 1.43 million more subscribers than I do. I only have 70K, not 700K. I have 70K.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
no.
thought
He
that
has
was
1.5.
It's not that big. It's
I
not
thought
that
it said
big.
1.1.
No. 1.51.
Yeah.
1.51 million.
I need glasses.
Yeah, that's all right.
That this will not get you, like I was talking about the PS90, this will not get you to the overall length requirement that you need. Perhaps a firearm, like if you have a SBR kit for an X95 or a Tavor, again, you're going to have to get like a Manticore Arms butt plate, which they sell, which will then increase the overall length by a couple of inches.
Here, can we see
Pretty
that?
prison. So you do want to kind of make sure that you're compliant, especially if you shoot at public ranges. So anyway, that is the entire ape device. Now we're going to show you what this looks like on different firearms, because it's not just for AR-15s. Literally,
Please
you can
no.
put this on anything, even a PS90. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Here you go, Dugan. You asked for it. Here it is on a
Goodness
P90.
Gracious.
And as you can see in the back here, you have this, I don't know if it's 3D printed or whatnot, but you have to have an extension in the back to get it to the 26-inch overall length or something like that. So
I think
Yep.
this goes in StarCraft.
You're welcome, Dugan. You're welcome. And all of that, you extend the back, you pin and weld this onto your barrel instead of just doing the SBR kit when you already have a suppressor tax stamp, right? I get it. If people like, I'm not doing a tax stamp, totally fine. 100%, right? But if you're buying this for a suppressor, you're already doing a tax stamp. So it completely negates its own existence on something like this. This is what we like to call like consumerism slop. Please buy my product.
I forget yesterday somebody brought it up where some states don't have where SBRs are illegal, but suppressors aren't illegal. Something along that lines. That's something I was gonna look into.
That is the two use cases.
Right.
One is that SBRs are illegal, but suppressors are not. Or two, crossing state lines, and you don't want to file paperwork if you're one of those people that does that. So, yeah. Also, I think the biggest crime personally with Tim for a military arms channel is that the content is the most boring content you could possibly imagine. Like, it is a solid 5 minutes of droning, 5 to 6 rounds at 100 yards, an ad spot, a banner ad, and rinse and repeat to your fans.
All right, so we have a couple of different firearms here for you guys to oogle over with the ape on it. Before we get into that, though, here's the packaging. And so I'm sure some of you guys are going to ask, what if I have a 12-inch barrel or 14-inch barrel, whatever? There are different sizes or different lengths of the ape adapter that.
And again, this whole video is like a product demonstration for a company that you own or are financially entangled with in some way, without ever disclosing that fact, apparently so far, that there is some sort of financial relationship there, which just seems odd, right? Just seems odd. Yeah, OMG, a box. Frankenstein Firearms for 109 says Thesis, Night Stalker, or Springfield Prodigy. Well, if you're going to buy a 2011 that doesn't work, I would buy the cheaper one. Personally. Right? As I know some people are like, buy the Prodigy and then just swap out these 10 parts and then you'll be good to go. And it's like, well, I'd rather not do that. Thank you, though. Chromosome Hoarder for 199 says Nim to shut up. As we have a strict no nimming policy there. Strength, thank you, Chromosome Hoarder 69. Mitchell Black asks the important question for 499. How will this help Israel? Well, if Mac sells more of these, he has more money to donate, or APEC donates more money to him and his MAGA podcast. So there's some relationship there. Like realistically, there is actually some relationship there between this and helping Israel.
Allegedly.
In
Allegedly.
Minecraft.
Well, I don't even know if it's allegedly. Kyle Milan for $2. Lots of $2 coming from Kyle. Throwing them all day. Spaz a N at Gal lover. Do you like N-Gals?
I think, yeah, I was about to say, I don't have an
N-Gals?
N-Gal, but I'd love to get an N-Gal for
I
free.
think they're kind of overpriced for what they are, honestly. Kyle Milan for $2 says $200. I don't pay my regular taxes. Yeah, those go into super chats for this channel. Thank you, Kyle. Lizana 715 for $2 says we need to crowdfund one for Hop for his one stamp gun. Yeah, I would. Although he hasn't even pin and weld his suppressor on there, so that's not even a one stamp gun yet. That's a fake one stamp gun. But yeah, I mean that would alleviate that issue. Other than the fact that his Trek is a solid can, so it's not hub, so you couldn't even put it on this device in the first place. So it wouldn't quite work for this application. Subarctic Psycho says, despite all my rage, I'm still just a can in a cage for $5.
Ain't that true, brother?
That would be a great AI cover. Thank you very much for the $5, Psycho. Kyle says, get a load of this nuking figure. Those are letters arranged in an order that don't quite make sense, but thank you very much for the $2.
He loves me.
He, apparently. Chuck for $10 says it will have conductive and convective thermal transfer, so it will be really hot. Yes, correct, because it is physically attached to the barrel, which gets quite hot, and right next to the suppressor, which gets very hot. And we'll have Mirage. This product is very niche for state line stuff, and suppressors really don't need physical protection. Yeah, state line or SBRs are illegal, but silencers are not. Right? Those are the two realistic use cases if you're not willing to do the third one. Kyle Milan for another $2 says, bro is speaking fluent Japanese. I actually studied that in college. Thank you very much. Zane Dune for $4.99 says, keep it up, brother. You rock. Well, thank you very much, Zane, for the $4.99. Appreciate it. You as well. John Shepard for $2 says, I don't hate this product in concept. If it was half as expensive and they were much more realistic about its real use case, I wouldn't hate it as much either. And if Tim wasn't appearing deceitful in how he's marketing this to his audience, I would have less of a problem with it.
Yeah, these would be all right at $100, right?
I think I can find a handguard cheaper than this.
They are. They have handguards for $40.
The Midwest Industries SD rail, like if you wanted like this type of look, right? Not for the pin and weld feature, but if you just wanted that type of look, is like $180.
That's insane.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but we need to keep moving along on this. Otherwise, we're never going to be done.
That you can pick up. So depending on what barrel length you have, you're trying to set up, Just pick the appropriate barrel length.
There is nothing interesting about the choice of firearm.
And you order the 8. So here we go. Galil Ace pistol, right? These were, I don't think IWI makes these anymore, but there's a bunch of them out there. And this one has right around a 13-inch barrel on it. And you can see now it has a proper stock. And that's because you can see the pin and welded ape system on it. Now, this is a little blast diverter, if you will. And this is also from Cryptid Hardware. And you can just use an...
I don't know. It's just so strange that he's like, oh, this is from Cryptid Hardware. Like, I don't know anything about
This is from
them.
them.
This is from them.
Hey, you know
And
what?
he's literally going to go through the entire product lineup. Like, if he had just said, like, wow, check out these new products from my new company, I bet the video would have gotten more views and people would have been happier.
Yeah.
Being
armor's
slightly
wrench to tighten this on. So
Yeah, being less
being-
cryptic would have helped.
How many Galeals were made? I think you mentioned it.
The
Numbers of Galeals,
few,
you know,
yeah.
they kind of make up the numbers.
won't back off, but it will mount to the ape adapter. So this is for people that are planning to buy a suppressor. They get the ape, they get the gun all set up, and they want something in there while they're waiting for their can to transfer to them. But even that's really, really fast these days, generally speaking. Like at Copper, we'll see transfers come in a couple of weeks to a month tops. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time to get cans transferred to you, but this gives you an option for whatever reason you don't want to run a can on it. You can put that on there. So you can see that this one is also oriented with that cut downward. And then over here, and this is just to give you an idea of the different applications.
Yeah, this is for Dugan. This section specifically, I asked Tim to put this in there for Dugan and his love for 5.7 and P90 specifically, so we get to see a PS90 murdered to satisfy this ad piece. Thank you for your sacrifice, FN.
Applications for it, right? This is a PS90, and you can see the ape is on it, but this gun is so tiny, so tiny, even with the ape making the barrel 16 inches, the gun with its factory butt plate is not the overall length necessary under ATF.
Sorry, Mac, but you do talk a little slow. So, and no, it is not M-Lock. And believe me, you would not want to mount any sort of laser aiming module on that thin of a piece of aluminum. You would not want to do that. But thank you for the $2 stock. It also would be right next to the suppressor, which as it heats up, I'm sure that thin piece of aluminum would start to warp a little bit. Not a great idea to do that. I would not do that. But thank you for the $2, sir.
Even if it didn't cause the laser to deflect, it'll cause the barrel to droop after, hanging additional weight on the
you're
aluminum.
gonna have weird deflection, point of impact shifts. It's gonna be strange.
That'll be awful.
Yeah.
Regulations, right? So it is not 26 inches from here to here. So this is just a prototype spacer that was manufactured to put on the PS90 to get the overall length good with the barrel length as well. So this isn't something that's for sale, I don't believe. This is just something to make the gun legal, but there's companies out there, and probably Cryptid Hardware at some point, perhaps. I guess if they sell enough of these for people wanting
Cryptid Hardware might
these
make
guys
one of these at some point. Cryptid Hardware might. I don't know. Like, maybe this is a prototype. They're not sold yet, but Cryptid Hardware might make one. I don't know. Maybe.
I do like that they put QDs in it, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. That's a nice feature add. If you were going to do this with a pin and welded suppressor, non-SBR, like, it's still a pretty compact package. And you do get the extra functionality of a little longer length of pole. You get the QD inserts. Not terrible. Honestly, not terrible.
PS90 adapters, they would probably make something, but this goes back to what I was talking about when you look at the X95s, like Manticore arms. I've used their butt plates, right?
X95, you say? I'm noticing something here. Night Fighter for $5 says, this guy is just a shill. I would never do that. Buy a Night Fighter bandolier. Now, Night Fighter, you have to understand that that's not shillery, right? Because shill implies some level of deceitfulness. If you say, buy my bandolier because I made them and I make money off of that, that's honest. So you are marketing your product, not shilling your product. Now, if I said, go and buy a Night Fighter bandolier and I own some portion of the company, that would be chivalry because I would be lying to my audience, right? So what you're doing is perfectly moral, square, right? What other people allegedly do is less so.
Plate on X95 is just flat. And when you want to meet overall length requirements because you're messing with barrel length or something like that, they have the little extra spacer that you put on. And theirs is different because it kind of arches back. So the overall length goes to the tip here and it kind of cuts back. So it looks a little bit better. But again, this is just a 3D printed prototype. So that's what it looks like on the PS90. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is just a standard hub adapter. So a lot of the cans these days, I'm not going to be able to get that off. There we go. A lot of the cans these days use a standard hub adapter. It's nice that we finally got to some standardization in the suppressor world. Not all the way there yet, but this is your standard hub adapter. So a lot of
Right. So again, your can, you screw off whatever adapter that it comes with, and then you just screw this directly in there. So you can still technically take it off and service it and whatnot. But Mac takes a long time to get to the point.
modern silencers will screw right onto this. You just unscrew the rear end of the can, the cap that's on there, the OEM one, and then the whole can will just screw on this new standardized adapter. So that's how it all comes together. Now, when it comes to balance questions and things like that, how does it affect the balance of the firearm? Guys, this doesn't add a whole lot of weight to the end of the firearm, and you're putting
It does add about 6-7 ounces, I think is what they showed, which is about half the weight of whatever suppressor you're putting on there. So it is like a 50% weight penalty to your suppressor. So it is a little bit. And on longer guns, although this is designed for shorter guns, so it's not that big of a deal, but it is kind of annoying.
a can on there. So
Also keep in mind that there's a relationship probably between Copper Customs and Mac and Cryptid Hardware. So when he's like extolling the product's virtues, it could appear to be slightly deceitful.
you can run titanium cans, you can run stainless steel cans. There's all sorts of different types of cans out there. So that balance is going to change depending more or less on what silencer you choose versus just having the ape on there. The ape's not going to change that dynamic a whole lot. So yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. And this is something I would have definitely explored had it been available when I was playing with my PS90 a long time ago. I just went ahead and SBR'd mine, but I do run a can on it, and that is super handy being able to do that.
Now, just something to note here, if you want to look at, I'll play this in 0.75 speed, which is a little painful, but a lot of the times when you see these guys demoing products and you notice their setups, you're like,
and that is super handy.
something seems
Ooh.
slightly off about his optic, doesn't it? Just watch this.
Able to do that. So
Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle.
Yeah. So again, these people, it's just promotional material. It's like just marketing. It's like, I don't know, throw that optic on a gun and then put this on there so that it looks good for the B-roll and just shoot into the dirt. And well, that's the content for you.
Reminds me of that Navy chief where they have the armor, just throw some shit on an M4 and then they
And it was backwards, and it was like nobody caught that. Nobody was like, "Sir, excuse me,
Oh,
sir."
somebody caught it and they got fired afterwards.
Oh, I know, but it's like, come on, come on.
this is a Bentham suppressor,
Oh,
and you can see what I'm talking.
that's a good point. Imperial Watch says a dynamic point of impact. Yes, randomizer on your impact. You had to nerf your accuracy.
It's a feature.
Talking about here.
It
This is
just
the
works.
hub mount, and inside there you can see where the baffles begin, and that'll become important here when I talk about the next product I have here from Cryptid Hardware. But I just want
The next product I have from Cryptid Hardware, he like backs down a little bit in his voice too, which is like strange.
to show you guys really quickly taking this Bentham test sample here.
Oh, don't get me banned. Oh, look, more products from Cryptid Hardware. Well, this must be very exciting.
And we have a couple
There's
different
one.
flavors of it. And these will be available with different thread pitches and stuff like that. This is for 1/2x28, but this is a device that can be pin and welded to your firearm if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be. This is intended to be a single solution to being able to use hub mount adapters.
I do hate the idea of this product where it's just the entire hub in a continuous package instead of like just being a mount. So now instead of having like different mounts, it's all just hubs plus a little muzzle device integral. I hate that idea. I think it's terrible. I've
Yeah.
seen a couple companies do it. I know What's their faces? CAC did one, KAK did one. That's like designed for like 13.7, so it's really long and goofy looking with a hub like in the middle of it with a little flash hider at the end or something. It's strange.
Don't these also get extremely carbon locked?
They can, right? Which is
They
why
can.
you would run, whether it's what do they call it? A taper mount, like a Plan B or a Xeno, or you have different systems like the Griffin Dual Lock or a few other good ones out there that I'm sure people enjoy. But this is like the worst solution. It's like, hey, what if we took that
Right.
functionality of having, a QD muzzle device and we just took that away? It's like, good or no? It's like, well, no, that's not the reason why I chose this mounting system. Huge ass for for $4.99 says the Mac Gape device now with 200% more gayness. That's twice the gayness. Yes, the gay armored protection environment or something like that, whatever the ape stands
Ooh,
for.
interesting.
Appreciate that with the Gape, which could be a new model as well. Kyle Milan for another $2 says, "Hey, buddy, did you know that some people are poo-poo heads?" Yes, I think that we figured that out, good sir.
I think you read that one, unless you sent it again. He probably sent it again.
He might have, yeah. Kyle Milan for $2 says, "Go to Spikes and look at all the goofy pop products." Yeah, no, Spikes makes some wacky stuff. Lots of companies make wacky stuff, and they deserve to get mocked for it.
But at
Spike
least
is
they
wacky,
say
dude.
who makes it,
This is another level though, because it's not even just the goofy product. It's also like hey, you sir, don't you have a financial relationship with this company that you haven't disclosed yet? That seems a little like that's an extra layer. It's like you add goofy and scummy, and you just have a shill sandwich, right? Like the McRib, the rib McRib for $2 says, "No, it's even lighter weight. Not using this." Correct. Correct. Thank you for the $2, sir. Appreciate it, homies. Kyle Milan for $2 says, "Yap, yap, 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 yap." Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much for the $2. Mitchell Black for $4.99 says, "Was Mac in charge of penis inspection day for the Marines?" Surprisingly, he volunteered for that. Volunteered for that position, which was a strange choice on his part, but thank you for your service. Zephon for $2 says, "Richard plays Magic the Gathering," which I think is meant as an insult. Are those allegations true, Mr. Richard?
They are not.
He plays Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm gonna pretend I know what that is.
Kyle Milan for $2 says, "Get me into Muffin's stream. I got some shit to say." Well, if you want to at the end, I'd be happy to have you come on here and yell at Spaz if you really want to.
Oh God, no.
That could be entertaining.
Oh goodness.
T-Bird, you did ask to come on, Spav, so you brought this on. T-Birder 8 for $5 says, "If Mac trips on a rifle, does that mean that they didn't give him protection money? I remember when he shit on the M10X." Yeah, it's just selective, right? And again, there may be certain companies that paid him thousands of dollars not to mention issues with their products. That might have happened at certain times. So Mac is known to, take the bag, as some might say, for less than scrupulous reasons.
Yeah.
Penis McDup McButt for $5 says, "Mac is just QVC for fuds."
Ooh.
Yeah, he's kind of like the old guard of YouTube, which is kind of, in a way, it's good and bad to like see them fade out. Huge ass for $4.99 says, "Thanks goodness he always wears his BDU jacket, so we never forget he served during peacetime." I don't make fun of people for their service, right? It's fine. All great. Thank you for your service. Yeah, awesome. I'm never gonna take that away from somebody. Other people who operate are like, they'll fight amongst themselves. It's like, I'm just a civilian. I don't care. Like, thank you for doing that. Kyle Milan for $2 says, "I'm better at CQB footwork than you. Hashtag CAG, hashtag goon, hashtag operator." Thank you for the $2. And you probably do work on your CQB footwork with a lot of men stuffed around you or something like that, right? Whatever you guys do in the shoot house, that's between you guys, all right? Thank you for the $2, though. Footwork, yes. Very important, your placement. All right.
With your suppressor. But when you unscrew the suppressor, it'll leave this on the rifle, and then it has a compensator and brake built into it. So again, you would time this in such a way that the hole up here, which vectors gas up and the barrel down, is oriented upwards, and then you have the brake here that's going to reduce muzzle rise and recoil. But here's another version of it.
This is what editors are for. Good sir, I'm pretty sure you have an editor. Like on 1.5 speed, this is too slow. Like this is too slow. Maybe I'm just brain rotted, right? But like this is kind of painful how slow this is to explain like a muzzle device.
It's definitely for somebody with, say, a 14.5-inch M4 style barrel. This one has a longer spacer on it. This will get you to the overall length that you need to be to not have it as an SBR on a military type barrel. And there's your pin and weld hole. So again, it will do the same thing. You get that affixed into your barrel, and then you can put your suppressor on. You take your suppressor off, you have a compensator on the end of your barrel.
Now, again, I don't really care about any of this. The point is that we're going to watch the whole video just so that, we can see if he mentions at any point any sort of financial entanglements he may or may not have with this company that he's extolling the virtues of, shall we say. We only have a minute left.
GB Guns.
The GB Gun says order now, and we'll give you an additional piece for free.
Oh, shit. I know.
Well,
unfortunately, it's not free.
Well, and what do you mean we will give you an additional piece? Because Mac hasn't said at any point that there's any relationship between him and this company, even though they operate out of the exact same location as his gun store. Right? So, I mean, It just seems like there's probably some relationship there. I think a reasonable person might presume that, after looking at the publicly available evidence. But that's really the problem that we have. Yes, Ben Sager did get a strike, which is very sad. Very sad to see. He'll be back next week, though, and he'll be uploading daily how to shoot videos and tips. So you should check that out if you're looking at how to get better at shooting.
Do we know what he got a strike for?
An old video talking about Apex triggers, which I have in my Glock. YouTube, I have an Apex trigger in my Glock, which is actually right next to me. I can't touch it, but he was just talking about it, like not showing the installation or anything. But that got a strike because it's like selling parts to manufacture. Because the YouTube bot is wild. Like it will strike random things at random times. Like I got a video age restricted like yesterday that was like 6 years old that had like no views on it. So it's like, I don't know. It's just random.
Yeah. So not to completely derail, but the Clips channel had the Reno May video completely removed.
Well, that's because of copyright. That's different. Somebody copyrighted, whoever created that AI song copyrighted it, and that's different. That's different. So not a YouTube strike.
So those are the products from Cryptid Hardware. If you guys have any questions about any of the products, the Ape or the Mandrake, you can ask those questions down below. I do try to stick around for the first couple of days after a video goes live to answer any questions you guys may have. If you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms channel so we can continue to bring you content like this, please consider becoming part of our Patreon family. There's a link in the video description below. Also, right here on YouTube, you got the thanks and subscribe button underneath the video player you're watching right now. You hit either one of those buttons and support us right here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Thank you for 17 years of support. Swing by, check out Copper Custom. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Copyright 2025. Is that the last 20 seconds of the video? Is just the copyright flag?
Probably.
Does he literally just have Military Arms channel? Okay, so it's just an outro. 6 Emperor Tyrannus.
Any mention of who made the product? No.
There was no. And again, the point is that the products are goofy, right? The products are silly. If you look up where they're based out of, 2600 Beach Street, Valparaiso, blah 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 blah, and this is for Cryptid Hardware LLC. Which also just happens to be the same as Military Arms Channel's custom armament, Copper Customs. Quite strange that he failed to mention that in his video. And as you can see on Tim's LinkedIn, he is the founding partner of Copper Custom Armament. So, and we can go back to the Hungarian SVD drama, which again, 3 great meme videos from Canuck Gunna, which you should check out. It's a 3-part series, very good. Very good. You should check them out. It's a great
solid channel.
Yeah, so check all of that out. So that's the thing. Maybe the product is goofy, and we can make fun of that. But if you're like, hey, my guys came up with a new product and a new company to solve this issue for this really niche problem for a few people, that's fine. That's great. Fantastic. But if you lie about it or fail to disclose your relationship with the company, that's just a little scummy. So that's all that I got to say on that. Right at an hour and 15 minutes, and we still got some other stuff to go through. GB Gun says for the last 8 days, they've deleted or restricted at least one video per day from my channel. That sucks.
Speaking of GB
'cause
Guns,
it's a lot of work to see washed down the drain for nothing. Right. For nothing.
yeah, GB Guns, shout out to that guy, comes to our shop actually. Know him personally, he's a great guy.
Oh, don't dox nobody. Shush spaz.
I
But
just
that's
know
cool.
him.
Good to know.
I just know him, yeah. Really
Yeah.
good guy. Great video
Well, actually,
content.
here we have some let me turn this basically off, but we can actually just pull this up. Okay, so we have some super chats to get to real fast, and I'm going to leave this on in the background like Subway Surfers for you guys so you guys can be entertained. Zane Dune for 199 says, an Israeli shill being deceitful. What? Impossible. Now, if you look at the Mac crash out, I guess you could call it now, from the SVD drama, like he did have some choice things to say about certain people. So, but thank you for the 199, sir. Brian Winters for 499 says, missed an opportunity to talk about the McCloy implementation last stream. Last stream. I remember you sending this in. I've actually talked about it before. The McCloy implement. And we can show you, because this is also quite funny. So this is another one of those products that's just a little bit silly. And it is a canted red dot mount. So you can do your curvy things, which I think might work better for like gas masks, right? Or like a couple applications, but it's a little silly.
With a curve that severe, I would suggest seeing a doctor.
The store does not exist. That's good. And again, I think that this was also a product that released like just before April Fool's, like last year, like a week before or something like that. Yeah, as the comments reading it right now. It was also something completely serious, but released weeks before April 1st. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, is this an April Fool's joke or no? So running a canted mount optimizes the tactical shooter. Not sure how, but let me see. Do they have it? Yeah. So it's not actually up right now. Their website is down. I wonder why. Todd and Dogs for $2 says that Weir drinks Pepsi by the 2-liter. You know, what's more American than a Pepsi 2-liter every morning to get you going?
You gotta have them sodies.
I saw the email about the T-Rex arms thing, but I haven't actually seen it. Is it a joke because it's April 1st, or are they actually selling something for $55? T-Rex arms. Let me check that out real fast. Pull that. It's going to take me a second to find that. T-Rex arms. Is it on their main? Oh, that's TA Target stuff. Tacticon. Cornhole. Oh, okay. So that's fine. That's just them being a little silly. So the T-Rex arms cornholster bags for $55. That's overpriced and silly, but it's like a meme product. Like, it's obviously a meme. Like, that is not a serious product. I think it's fine. And they probably only made a few sets of it. And as you can see, they sold out. So would I do something like that? No. But as for like a meme, it's like, whatever.
What?
Do you have thoughts on that, Richard?
You're not going to sell the cuck ties for $9.99 on your website?
No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, but again, if somebody did that and it was very obviously a joke, right? They're not trying to, like, it's a joke, right?
Right.
Somebody's going to buy it because it's funny. But that's it.
That's why I thought that you should put it up just for today, just as a joke.
Yeah,
and
no.
somebody would obviously buy it just because
I'd actually have to do to send it out to them, like just one zip. I feel bad. I couldn't do it because I would feel bad. I wouldn't do that.
Well, of course you'd have to put something like a sticker or something else.
Yeah.
With it,
now
right?
That would be funny too, is if you sold like the cuck tie or the meme item, but then you gave away like a exclusive patch or sticker, with
Yeah.
that item, and that's really what you're buying. You're paying for the meme thing, but you're actually getting a custom sticker or patch or something like that. I think that's fine.
Yep.
Spud Stalker for $5 says, had to pay the IRS $5. So here, well, thank you very much. I'm not the IRS, but I will accept your $5, and I won't show up at your house or try to audit you either. Thank you. Appreciate it, sir. Kyle Milan for $2 says, Spaz don't even own a suppressor. Why are you talking?
He's right,
Yeah. Well, he's talking because he wanted to come on. So
He,
that's how it works.
This would be
sometimes.
great.
That
Well,
how it'd be. He's
Maybe
actually
Spaz.
apparently Spaz is just here to be a punching bag because that's what he's been for this stream. So
I mean, it happens. I may
honestly,
not be
Spaz, I
enjoying
think
it.
you've done a great job. I think you've been fantastic.
I
We'll have you on
appreciate
next
it.
week.
Much
Hell
better,
yeah.
much better fill in than Stench Grenade.
Ugh, stench, stench grenade. Who's that?
Stink bomb.
AC for $1.99 says Memeworks cans are useless. Prove me wrong. No, they're a little quiet and they're not very gassy. I think it really depends on what you want from a suppressor. Some people are all about sound, and that's the only thing they care about. Some people care about weight. Some people care about gas blowback. There's no perfect can. It's all about what you actually want out of it.
They're all a compromise from what I gather.
Basically, Yeasty G for $1.99 says, I have mucus in my stool. Well,
Ooh,
no.
that pick was
I don't know.
rough.
I don't think
Says-
it's lying.
He might not be. Rib McRib, Sir Rib McRib the third for $5 says Nut and Fancy would never shill this. It violates SAWC size and weight constraints, POU philosophy of use, WROL without rule of law, and most importantly, gay. Oh wait, we have them think. Richard, you're the producer. You're supposed to pull this up.
Gay.
That's right. Violates the gay principle. Thank you for the $5, sir. Logan sucks at shooting for 10 says, is Richard always late because he's busy visiting Mr. Thumb? Is Richard actually a woman with a voice changer? Is Richard a troon? We the people demand answers. The
Richard in
truth,
confidence came
the
out.
truth is out there, and the truth is a lot simpler than you think it is.
You're a retarded faggot.
Truth is very simple.
So-
when you boil it down, it's not too complex.
You beat me
Jake,
to that by about 2 seconds. I was
I was as soon as I saw that, I was pulling it up. Jake Zorp for $1.99 says, sorry I'm late. What did I miss? I love you, Spaz. Kissy emoji.
There's
Kissy
perpetually like 7 men that are gay for me.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. And you don't even have a face. Look at you. You're
yesterday-
violating a
sorry.
trench principle.
Well, I didn't do my laundry. There's clothes on the bed. I'm sorry. Next time, full kit, camera on.
Well, Jake, so to fill you in, we're just going to stream this stream on 10x speed for the next 6 minutes, and that will catch you back up. So we'll just do streamception. We'll react to our own stream on 10x speed for 10 minutes, and that should catch you up. Thank you for the $2, Jake. Rib McRib for $2 says, Sig Simper Tyrannies?
I don't know what that says.
I think that's the line. Right? Thank you for the $2, sir. Grand Thumb's Conscience coming in late, just like his mistress is. Hey, there's nothing wrong with hiding relationships. You know what? Good point. 1 point for Mr. Military Arms Channel on hiding your financial or physical relationships. Something that I don't think, did anybody ever send me the screenshots of the Military Arms Channel simping over?
Yes, I have those. 1 second.
Okay, if you just send them to me right before we end. Kyle Milan for $2 says, "Get this spaz mafa out of here." Well, no, but thank you for the $2, sir. Greatly
He
appreciate it.
loves me.
Apparently,
It may
he's been
seem like he's very hateful, but he
might hate you, but he throws a lot of money at you. So I think there might be some sort of weird psychological thing going on there that
I'm starting to like it. It's weird.
I don't fully want to delve into. Okay, so oh dear. So if you go to Tim Military Arms Channel, the people that he's following, you can see that there are a few
I did not want to
females.
click those.
female. I'm not clicking on them. This is just a screenshot. There are a few females of a certain variety that he has a tendency to follow while he has a wife and kids. Some might say that that's a little strange or like a no, right? Oh, that's actually a good meme. But anyways, huge ass for 199 says Salma Hayek has perfect cans. Checkmate. Pretty sure those cost way more than $200.
You know, I have to say, I am a big fan of Quentin Tarantino because he cast himself in the role to drink shots of tequila off of Salma Hayek's leg. He could have cast anybody in there. Nope. He wrote like that scene specifically for himself.
He's like, all right, for this scene, Salma, I need you to pour alcohol down your leg, and I'm gonna drink it off your feet, okay? And just to make sure it's not weird, I'm gonna do that role myself, okay? Just to make sure that it's not weird, okay?
Sus.
Okay, all right. It's not weird. It's just I'm the man for the job. I've dreamed of this. I mean, the role is built for me. Okay.
I am getting harassed by Kyle to join the stream. For him to join the stream,
he can.
Do you want me to send him the link?
Yeah. Send him the link if you just copy and paste it to him.
Sounds good.
And if it goes bad, I'm banning you permanently from the server. So this is on you.
Me?
You, yes. Garantham's Conscience for 199 says, Spaz is back. Kissy face.
I'm sorry.
Listen,
no.
If Garantham is coming after you, phrasing, you got problems.
I'm not a 39-year-old MILF, okay? You don't need to be coming my way.
Well, I don't think Grantham discriminates. That is one thing you can say about Mr. Thumb is he's an equal opportunity dispenser.
Goodness gracious.
The man has a lot of love to give. Garantham's Conscience for 499 says, sorry I'm late. I was at a tourist sales meeting. Took forever. Still no new ideas. Yeah. I'm telling you, you got to make a gun called the Clit. So you can call it the Clitoris. I think that would be and then market it strictly towards females. I think that would be very funny. I think that would be very funny. Thank you for the $4.99 though, Grantham. Rib McRib for $5 says, to be clear, I grew up on Nut and Fancy videos. Still unironically like his videos. Same. I go back and I watch Nut and Fancy's back catalog of AR-15 reviews. Just for fun sometimes, and would pay so much Patreon loot to get him on a focus trip stream. So an update to the Nut and Fancy contact is that he did respond to me a while ago. I need to bug him again and see if I can get him to come onto the stream because he said that he would look into it because his fans wanted him to do so. So I will reach out again and try and get him on because I know that's a big one people have been asking for.
Right. We did have somebody else hop in. There we go.
All right, the Spaz hater is here. So how's it going, man?
It's going.
Good.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Spaz.
so okay, you. Oh no, put it down.
You can't show guns on the stream, dude.
You're not supposed to. No, you can't handle guns on stream.
Oh, I did.
So you could get
it's
the whole
not real.
stream taken
It's
down.
not real. Don't worry, it's not real.
All right, I forget he has his airsoft kit on today.
Yeah, it's a gel blaster. Don't worry about it.
Gel blaster. All right, perfect.
We're fine.
Sorry. But what's the deal with you and Spaz? Why'd you want to come on here?
We go way back, and I just came here to talk smack.
All right, well, talk smack because I want to go.
Spaz. Spaz.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Why are you the way that you are?
I've been working out.
Look,
Trust me, I'm getting
dude.
better.
I've got you all figured out.
Yes.
You know, most people they put peanut butter on themselves. You put peanut butter on the dog, which that's okay. It's okay. Still love you nonetheless, but we got him, boys. We got him.
I can't.
You can, and you are.
Oh God.
I mean, hey man. All I'm saying is, you can just call me the third little piggy because I'm all bricked up and ready to get blown. Okay.
Go off.
I've been going off. What do you mean?
Yeah, he's been going off all night.
So I can dive into it. Back in the olden days of like 4 months
Don't call
ago.
it the olden days.
Damn it.
It was 4 months ago. It wasn't this long ago. Me and LARP were in this Discord server of a popular YouTuber, and I've been in it
Can
for
you
like.
tell that Spaz is perpetually on Discord?
I'm
Is it
always on
obvious?
Discord. It's
Yes,
all the online friends
the
talk to me.
Discord is a odd place full of troglodytes that never leave,
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
which means that I end up spending way too much time on there because I'm like, oh, I'll hop in and talk to these guys for a few minutes, and then like 30 people join and you never leave. So
You know, part of me feels bad for you, but at the same time, like you do it to yourself, and you got to find it at least a little entertaining.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise you wouldn't
Quite
do it, right?
entertaining.
it's true. It is true.
Yeah. We're all
So-
guilty of it. All of
Yeah.
us guilty of it.
Our
It is
server is
entertaining.
pretty cool because the voice chat, you never know who's going to show up in there.
I mean,
Private
as
or
most Discords go, yeah.
The other night we had
It's the internet.
Vintage. It was me, John, Vintage, and like 12 other people, and I think we were watching Black Hawk Down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was
like
streaming
we
Black
just
Hawk Down. That was great.
we just hang out and watch movies and chat about guns and autism.
That is the one
Sounds
thing
about
that I
right.
did forget to do actually is to go over the comment section on Tim's 8-bit has tier
Oh,
1
yeah.
consumers, says Chuck for $2. So says Trevor says, bruh, this shit costs more than a $200 tax stamp. MC Rubicon says this could probably be seen as an April Fool's joke. Correct.
It feels so simple as that, though.
Midwest 2A, who, good channel, follows us, and he's also hangs out on the Discord. You released this a day early. This has got to be an April Fool's joke. Hot Reload says, anyone else notice the optic was loose at 10:05? Bouncing around on there. Let's see here.
Probably one of
This
the
has
best
to be the
ones.
dumbest thing that I've seen all year. Correct. And it's only April. It's only April. And this is the
Yeah.
top spot so far.
One of the best comments that I had seen you had passed. It was a reply to one of the opening main comments.
Ooh.
Mac, you are a founding member of the company that makes this. Strange you didn't disclose this in the video. Possible SEC violation?
Exactly what we're saying.
Question mark?
That was commented like 51 minutes ago. That
That was
Oh,
that's
that's from us. Yeah. Although that does
That
have a lot
was-
of likes, so somebody's in here. They're hopping over here. This is a day ago from Icon. So weld a piece of handguard to the end of your barrel versus either sticking with a pistol brace or a $200 tax stamp. Hell no, this might be the dumbest thing I've seen in a while.
From my understanding, you can cross state lines with a pistol brace on other than like Washington, California, wherever it's banned.
Right.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Just confirming.
and you can cross state lines with suppressors, no problem. It's just like
Right.
other NFA
It's
items.
just
It's literally the
SDRs.
only the SPRs.
And-
But
exclusive
here's the other thing:
they have
if
to file
you're a
for.
free man, you don't ask permission.
Correct.
Come
There is the
on.
third option.
The third funny option.
I have always told the ATF when I'm crossing state lines with my SBRs, but other people
Well,
choose
all right.
to do different things.
Let me fill all of you in on a fun little life hack. Okay,
Uh-oh.
it's free to inform the ATF and let them know that you're crossing state lines, right? And they're valid for a year, right? So if you just flood them with 50 of them, you're free for the whole year to just go to whatever state you want at any time.
For every single gun range you're going to visit within the year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
Just
can put-
copy
And
paste a
it's
list.
free. It costs them money.
You know what?
They got to pay somebody to process all that paperwork. And,
Right.
like it's a little gotcha. So like if everybody does that all the time, like I know I'm good for 50 states other than like, the outside states like Alaska. Like who goes to Alaska or Hawaii? Like who goes to Hawaii? But I'm all set for the year. I can go wherever I want. And it costs the ATF money. And it makes them look like goofy goobers for doing that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You can't travel into California with one, correct?
No, you can't, but you can tell the ATF that you're gonna.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
going there.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
And
it's
then-
not
and
it's
then here's
not
the fun
illegal
thing.
to not
You
go
have,
there.
yeah, exactly. You have no
Yeah.
legal obligation to go there.
And
You
it's
were just
not
informing them of your intent.
and it's not a federal crime to tell them that you are going to go there. Is it?
If you actually show up there, I think it's a crime. But like just saying you're going to do it is different from then.
No,
actually
it's only
doing
a crime if you show up and
Right.
get caught.
But it's not a federal crime to show up in California with it. It's only a state level crime to possess SBRs
Right.
because they're NFA.
Okay. Right.
Mhm.
And technically, if you look at the Constitution, we do have technically constitutional reciprocity.
Well, let's see what the ATF thinks about that, because I think that they're going to tell you to go screw yourself.
Exactly.
Also,
They're gonna make
here's
up a law
here's
specifically
10
for that.
years in prison for you.
Yeah.
No, but back to the comments real fast. The last one I want to look at is Absolute Resolution says, worthless product. How much did they pay you to make a video about it and act like it has a practical application from a day ago? Well, and this guy probably doesn't even know that this, what is it? I keep forgetting their name. Cryptid Hardware and his gun shop are one and the same in terms of where they work out of. So, yes, good intuition. There is, in fact, a relationship there. So people see through it, and that's what I like to see. Jake Zorp for $1.99 says, I'll take Spaz's place when he's banned. Sorry, Spaz. Yeah.
Wait.
Zorp is next up. Sorry, man. All right, last one for the night, and we are going to get out of here. Is Garantham's Conscience for $4.99. It says they already sell the clip Taurus. It's a sub. Don't look that up. Compact, and nobody can find it.
I'm sorry.
That's very good. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you, or ma'am, whoever Garantham's Conscience is. Very, very funny. Thank you very much. Gosh dang it. Logan for $5 says that LPVO versus Red Dots video looks to be a lot more interesting. We should watch that next. No, that's a crappy video. You should not watch that. Definitely don't do that.
But I want.
YouTube only goes
Don't
up to
do
2x speed. They don't go any higher. So
Yeah,
it's-
2x is way too. You have to download the video and then edit it to
like
actually
import
make
it into
watchable.
Premiere, bring it up to like 16x speed, and then you can do it. But at
Right.
that time, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Really quick sidebar, Spaz. Let's see that laundry, buddy.
No.
Wait,
Absolutely
who
not.
just Richard? Who just jumped in?
I have no clue.
How did somebody jump in?
Spaz.
Who did you send the link to?
LARP. I sent the link to LARP. LARP might have been funny.
LARP. Who did you send the link to?
I don't answer questions. I plead the fifth.
All right, we'll give this guy
gracious.
5 seconds. Night Schiller, what's up, homie?
Oh, it's Night Fighter.
Call me a
is it-
shepherd the way they flock to my tip.
Unbelievable. How's it going, man? Sir, John, how's it going? Nice.
And he's gone.
he
And
was
he's
trying to
gone.
figure out how to leave.
Night Fighter,
Nice.
another solid guy from that server.
Certified,
He tried.
certified bruh moment. Yeah, absolutely,
I-
Chuck.
Right.
You are completely welcome. Stupid products deserve to get
When-
roasted.
When he first came in, I did not read his name properly. I thought it said something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he change it?
Oh, that's good. No, I don't know. I don't know if he did. I might not have paid attention to it. But Night Fighter, yeah, he was on. You can't
I'm
say
just
he
here
wasn't
for
on
the
the channel.
chuckles. I'm just here for the chuckles. That's all.
Oh yeah.
All right, well then, before we get out of here, Spaz Hater, do you have anything you want to shout out while you're here?
Spaz, do your laundry. That's all.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
probably right.
At LARPerator Kid on Instagram, if you care enough, but like, don't worry about it. If anything, if you're thinking about going to my Instagram, don't find Spaz on whatever and tell him to do his laundry.
Right,
Please.
correct.
Please
That's
actually
all.
do
Thank
it.
you.
I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it
you
right
can
after
hang
this.
out. You can hang out with these tards in Discord if you want to. Spaz, what do you got?
Shit. Shout out to GB Gunsaw guy and my YouTube channel. There's nothing there. I have a single clip with like 400 views. It's Spaz, same as my name on here. If you want to check it out, don't. I don't know if I want to become a content creator yet. I know nothing.
You should definitely do it. This is not a saturated industry. We definitely need more people doing the exact same thing.
I'm just a young guy. I'm just a silly goober guy, and I like to say funny things.
Oh my gosh. Trying to get out of here, and it's just not possible. Fresh Pinochet, one of
No
my
way.
favorite helicopter tour operators in the world. And his new drone service, even more efficient than last time. For $20, says good soup.
Those are some of the words said of all time.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are words that could be arranged in sentences.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that. Thank you very much for the $20, good sir. Base Camp. Also, another group of tards that you should totally check out. I'm supposed to have them on at some point. But a good channel, up and coming for sure. Great production value. For $1.99 says create the content, brother.
He's telling me to do it. I'll
Yeah, you
try not
gotta
to
do
be
it.
as bad as Trench Grenade, but we'll see.
Man, Trench Grenade cannot not catch strays, It's like, Gosh dang it. Christopher for $2 says Ruger S-FAR in 8.6 or Q boombox. Well, if you buy the Q boombox, you're supporting Q. So I'd buy the Ruger S-FAR. They're both meme guns. Like, you're not actually going to shoot them. You're going to put like a couple boxes through it and be like, wow, that's funny. And then you're done with it, right?
I would go with the SFAR just because Ruger marketed with the hard R.
True.
the Ruger, we put the hard R in SFAR. So there's got to be a good analogy or an acronym for SFAR.
Everything bad's coming to mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Logan, stop it.
Dang it.
Oh my goodness.
Logan sucks at shooting for $5 says Trench is receiving direct fire. It's no longer strays. That's true. It's very intentional at this point.
You
At
should
this
make a
point,
video on that.
it's just a meme that's never going to die. Like, listen, I could like Spaz was the punching bag for this stream. If I bring Trench back on, it's just going to be an unending hate brigade for like 2 hours of Trench getting made fun of.
Well, I mean, that's
least
kind of
there's-
what it was tonight with Spaz. Like,
Right.
Yes, that's
but
what I'm
it's
saying
mostly
is-
coming from me, but it's still deserved. Like,
No, I need to make
It's
a
understandable.
YouTube video about it and be really upset and cry
Okay.
to the camera saying,
Here's-
guys, I
okay.
can't believe I got this much hate.
Spaz, post the video of you doing the ORT. I want the world to see.
No. Oh my god, it's so bad.
that. I'm
It's
bringing it
so
up.
bad.
I had to.
It'll be posted on my YouTube channel. Check it out.
else we
Tree
do?
Birder Rivate for $2 says he should change his name to Trenchfoot in Mouth. Well, we've all been known to put our feet in our mouth at times. It's kind of part of the game when you talk online for a living, or as part of your living, even as a hobby.
I'm not much of a foot guy, so I can't really relate. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay.
What's the Discord at? Wouldn't you like to know? Richard,
Bad.
can you put that in the chat real fast?
It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination.
You're right.
I promise you, you don't want to be there. Save yourself.
Invite
Save
people.
yourself. Please
Copy
save
link.
yourself.
I am not posting the Discord invite link. I'm not pinning it to the chat. Do not click on that. Do not join.
Please.
Do not do that.
You definitely won't be held in airlock until
Forever.
you prove your worth.
Richard is now traumatized, so he will never let anybody else in. That's the joke, is that we
Oh,
just
there's a
have
couple people joining.
well, we have like 1,000 people in the airlock and nobody's ever coming in. Dear God, what is coming? Yeah, it's gonna be bad. But with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you. Well, actually, Richard, before we go, what do you got?
I just do silly things. I take clips
Mhm.
from the stream and I post them on the Out of Focus Clips channel. Go subscribe. We're trying to do things, trying to do big things, and I will eventually be posting some original content on there. I finally
Okay.
got my setup up, so it will be coming. It will be coming like a grand thumb.
Do not come. I'm gonna come. But
He's
with
gonna.
all that, yes. But with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. God bless. Peace
Take
out.
it easy, guys.
Well, that was a very